I want you to get the most out of this meeting, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with Google's Nano Banana. One of the things that we said in our marketing materials and our stuff that's out there is that you're going to be able to save a fortune on things like photographers. I don't want to throw a cow at photographers. However, I want you guys to take a look at two different people that I used to hire. Well, one that I almost hired. One was a helicopter pilot because 11 years ago when I got, so 12 years ago when I got started in Florida, the person I was working with, his wife came up to me, a very sweet woman, hands me a post-it note and says, "You probably need to save this just for your expensive listings. But if you ever need an aerial shot, this guy costs about $2,000 to fly very quickly over your spot and get an aerial shot of the home." I'm not kidding. That was somebody who very quickly went out of business. Isn't that the truth? We have now drones, and you could be the greatest helicopter pilot in the world. It didn't matter. There was another woman who wrote my original bio for me, and a lot of my materials. I think I paid her 500 bucks because I was the world's worst writer. These are two people that, I hope they're doing well. I don't want anyone to be hurt by all of this, but I want everyone to realize that this is not some massive amount of time in which the things have changed, and it's changing even faster now. And we're going to start, like I said, with Nano Banana, and again, I'm trying to make this all work out for you. Does it mean you don't use a photographer? No. Of course, you could still use a photographer. What we were saying in this is that there's a lot of extra services that photographer use, that they use for you, and there's things that you can do. Let's say you have a property and you want to run and gun, you don't have a photographer. We're going to show you now. Actually, you know what? Enough with me talking. I'm going to get right into it here. So let's just take a look at it's Google Gemini. Aton, if you have the links, that would be great. If not, I'll throw them up in a minute. Google Gemini is effectively ChatGPT, but owned by Google. They call it a large language model. That's LLM. And if you want to take a look at some of the tools they have here, you'll click on tools, and it will have a lot of very similar things that you see in ChatGPT. Those videos that I make, the ones that you've seen on my social media where Moses is leading everyone and says that they should have used the Edmund Bogen team, or the guy that won the Super Bowl and said, I can't wait to buy a home from Ed Bogen. That was made with VEO, that's VEO3, that's from Google. But today we're going to focus in on Nano Banana. And it's very simple. You're going to be able to put in an image, and based on the prompts that you give, you're going to be able to make requests for certain changes. Sorry, guys. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, hold on. You're going to be able to make some requests for certain changes to the image. So let's take a look at that. If we have, we'll start with well, I did this once before, but I'm going to do it once again just because I think it's the most common thing. I'm going to take a green pool. And again, for those who've seen it, they're kind of a green pool, ugh. If you've worked the suburbs or worked, the luxury communities, you don't have any experience unless you've had a green pool. So what I will do with this Nano Banana is say, please virtually stage this green pool into a deep blue, beautiful. Sorry, people are entering still. Beautiful pool. Make the background sky a beautiful sunrise, or any variation of there. Okay, guys, maybe you want a sunset, maybe you want something else. We could get this into Google's Nano Banana, and it usually does it fairly quickly. Here it's going. I hope everyone could see this all right. And there we go. So let's take a look at this. And it still has some stuff in the pool. If I wanted to actually clean it up a little bit more, I really could. But this is something, if you have a Gmail account, you have Google Gemini. You don't necessarily, now I pay for all my stuff because I use a lot of it. But if we take a look here, let me go back into the images. So that was my original pool, and that was my Google Nano Banana pool. There's still some leaves in there. We could use some more time to clean this out. I'm not going to. I'm going to look at all of you to tell you this. Please, please, please check with your local realtor association about the legality of virtual staging and the disclosures that you're going to need to make. It's very important. The last thing I want to do is give you some advice that's going to fuck you over. That's not what I do. I try to help you, not hurt you. The reality is that we have certain circumstances where we're going to want to showcase something, and we want to make it look as good as possible. I was looking at some of my, let's go and give you another example here. I was looking at some of my listings, and I decided rather than do that, I'm going to show you my living room. And first, let's take a look at my living room. Actually, I think I need to actually convert that. It's a pretty nice living room anyway. We had the place renovated. Here, and I think we need to actually get this exported into a JPEG. Sorry, guys. Okay. I'll explain the different files in a moment. But so here we got Ed's living room in here. And let's take a look at this. Maybe if some of you could unmute yourselves and tell me how we could improve the living room.
Put some paintings on there.
Okay, good. Who was that? Who just suggested the paintings?
Casey.
Oh, thank you, Casey. Okay, put some paintings on the wall. Anything else we want to do?
You should have
Rugs.
a rug in the middle of that to break up the floor.
Good. Please also put a rug in there to break, and I won't say break up because it might do something else. I'll say to balance the look of the home. Now, I'm doing this in real time. These are your requests, not mine. So let's just take a look at what might happen. I'll keep the original right here. Okay.
I like the
Wow.
painting. Looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And the
Not
rug.
bad. You know, I should show my wife. Okay. So now you could actually see that. So that's the point of this. Once again, I really don't want you to end up screwing yourselves over with the legalities and the ridiculousness of all of this. It is our job to highlight the best way possible the properties that we're selling. It's our job to get these things sold. My living room could look that way. We just don't have the rug in there and we don't have the paintings on the wall. And by the way, what if you don't like the paintings? What if there's another type of painting you want? You could change the actual art and the look of the art, and that's really important. Let me give one more example of this, and then we're going to move on to Comet. Again, I could do a mastermind on each of these, and I'm going to speak with Aton. We probably will. We probably will focus on a few of these things. But let me give you one example. Let's say you wanted to actually change a person. Is Dana and Mandy here? Let me just see. Got to yell at them if they're not. Okay. So let me just share with you another image here. We've got Dana and Mandy. We're great participants. They're lovely women. And let's take a look at the actual image that we have themselves here. You see, very nice. I'm sure, you know, this is very professional, so I'm sure it was brushed up as well. We could take them and say, please remove the background and put them um, in Paris at night. Okay. I mean, this is a little silly because they wouldn't, that's not helping us sell the real estate, but we'll actually show the limits of how far this thing can go. And in fact, since the arm is up in one of them, it might not look as great as I'd like it, but let's take a look at what the AI comes up with. Okay, so actually cut the arm down. Looks a little fake to me, but I think you really do get the point that you're able to, through trial and error, play out what you want to play out. This definitely looks like a Hollywood set. This is not my example of great stuff. It's certainly not as great as the virtual staging of my living room. Okay, questions so far? Once again, we're going to be going through a lot of this pretty quickly because we do have a few different tools, but I want this to be food for thought. Eitan, if you have time to put the stuff up in the chat, yeah, and he did already. Thank you, my man, always way ahead of me. And I see that Zainab has to leave. If you have to leave, this will be streaming for all of you to see as well. And I do suggest you go back and forth. And I do suggest you download the workbook, which Eitan keeps putting up for everyone to use. Okay, so next, Comet. Comet is by a company called Perplexity. Perplexity is a really fascinating company. It's probably the biggest AI that you really haven't used. It's great in actually doing research, more so, I think, than ChatGPT and Claude and a few of these. I use all of them. Perplexity is a great tool. Let me show you why. Okay, first of all, if we take a look at my if we take a look at my thing, you'll see up here it says Comet. It looks just like any other browser, but there's a couple big differences between that. One of the things that I love to do with this, and I suggest you consider this, is I love to go to YouTube to learn stuff. I think that there's so much stuff that you can learn on YouTube. I usually go to AI or coding. It knows what I'm really into. And I now with Perplexity have this thing called Assistant. Look at it here. I can't enlarge it here, but trust me, it's on the upper right-hand side. And if you click on it, you'll have an assistant that opens up on the page. This is, and I'll look at all of you, an agentic tool. Agentic meaning an agent. It is something that can work autonomously. If you give it commands, it will do stuff for you. Let's go back to the image here. So this is available. Eitan's already put this into the uh, folder for you to see. Somebody give me something that you'd like to learn, or something that you might have an interest in. It could be flowers, it could be cars, it could be, I mean, somebody throws something out there. I'd like to really make this real for you if it's at all possible. Anyone? Anyone?
I want to learn how to make mosaics.
Okay. How to make, who was that?
Dina,
Yeah, okay.
nice to meet you.
I didn't, sorry, I didn't pick up. So mosaic art. Is that how to make
Yes.
mosaic? Okay,
Ah,
great. So Dina wants to make mosaic art. And lo and behold, there's a bunch of tools out here. I'm going to pick the first video and I'm not going to listen to it. What I'm going to do is pull this up and I'm going to say this. Now, this is going to blow you away. Can you please write a detailed summary of this video and give me key takeaways? And one of the things that I really love about Perplexity is here gives you all the details of it, all the summaries. Guys, I'll give one warning here. I don't want this to make you completely lazy. I think you still get stuff out of watching the video. But isn't that pretty cool that you could actually now be able to do the research by taking, Dina wanted to learn about mosaics. She didn't tell me about this before. I don't know why she wants to learn about mosaics, but she wants to learn about mosaics. That's great. And it actually lent itself to a very good example here. So thank you, Dina. So now we have this thing right here. We could take it a step further. We could say, oh, a couple people in the waiting room here. There we go. Um, we could say, uh, if you wanted to go like a step further, we could go, let's going in the theme with Dina. No, no. Let's just see, Dina, Ulrich. And we could take this. Let me show you why I'm doing this. Okay, so we have Dina's popping up all over the place. About Dina, great. So we got all this great stuff with Dina. I'm going to take Dina's information here. Oops. Where did she go? Okay. I'm going to take your information if I could figure out how to use my computer. Okay. I'm going to take Dina's information. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to that little open thing here. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, please use the context of my bio and information to write a social media script for why about mosaics and me. Be creative. Again, it's very out there because Dina's a realtor. Uh, be creative and okay, so let's just take a look. It may or may not fit very well, but it's now taking what I just put in here and mosaics from skyscrapers of New York to the sunny shores of South Florida. My story has always been about stitching pieces together, much like a beautiful mosaic. Each chapter, blah, 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 blah. Again, this was a stretch. You may or may not like the actual post, but once again, I'm trying to get you thinking here of the possibilities of what you could use these AI assistants for. This is something that you could actually chat with the document. More importantly, if you were learning something like everyone knows, I've mentioned before that I'm learning Python, or if you're seeing something on the screen that you would like a better explanation of, you could actually dive into the AI assistant and be able to get some type of explanation about that. Again, the mosaic might have been a bit of a stretch, but in a way, I kind of like that because, yeah, you are able to merge all sorts of stuff and be able to do all that. Maybe Terry's got something about Brooklyn that he'd like to marry into something. Maybe you would like to make a script for an AI avatar and then be able to take that and put that out there to be able to now you've done nothing. You found a story about mosaics that was a podcast or something on YouTube. You put your bio into it. You said, okay, write a script, a 45-second script for my AI avatar, and you could then put it into something like captions, which we will be doing another mastermind on that app. And boom, you could create a video that you had nothing to do with. Okay, cat's out of the bag here. People know about it, but guess what? A lot of people are not using it. They really should be. Why do I know? I spoke to my daughter and all the people that she's working with in California. Hardly any of them are using AI. I'm shocked. And when they do, they're using it for the way you might use Google. I spoke with all the sorts of other people. You can run over everyone right now. We've got a golden opportunity to be able to get this, but not before I pick on Maxine. Maxine, can you tell everyone who you are and where you are?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maxine Till. I am with Keller Williams Realty, licensed real estate agent in New York City, specifically the Bronx. I wanted to ask, so this that you just used, Edmund, that's Comet, you said, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that was really good because there's this healthcare brand, and I think it's called like Care, and their website answered every question that I could have. And I'm not a consumer for them, but it answered every question that anyone could have when going to their website to see if they would be a potential customer for them. And I wanted that exact structure to my website. So, like the way that you took the video and added Dina's bio, and this AI system created like put it together like a puzzle piece. I think that that's very, very valuable. There's so many different AI chats, AI bots, and AI tools that you really don't know which one to use, how to incorporate it inside your real estate business. And I think that this is very valuable. And I'm definitely going to go to the website and pull up the assistant and ask them to incorporate or create a website similar to this current website for using my bio.
Okay. Would you let me ask you this, Maxine? You just keep saying website. Would you want to do an episode, a mastermind on how to make a website? Would anybody
Um,
that interesting
yeah,
and I'll get
sure.
to you in a second, Jonathan.
Yeah, I definitely think that that is interesting. I think my issue with websites, especially as a real estate agent, they're very cookie cutter. They're
Mm.
very it's all the same. And honestly, I don't put much time into it because they all look the same unless I'm going to invest in creating a website outside of what the your company gives you.
Sure. Okay. Well, there's just if I could digress just for a second, I made this yesterday because I realized I don't have much of a public speaking thing. I got the data from online and I made this with a tool called Claude. I took one of our stock images of me and I took a video of our past meetings and a cartoon that I made with AI. And this whole thing was basically written up. It's not ready for prime time per se, but it's pretty damn close if you want to know the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
I need to put something in here. If you want to quick join the mastermind, it should take you to the existing site that we have. We are trying to change things around. If you want to book a consultation with me, you click here and it should take you to my Calendly. So there's ways of putting this together. And I did this in about, it wasn't that tough.
Okay.
It wasn't that tough because I know how to do it, but I'm just
Right.
saying that if you guys are interested in learning about that, because now you could do this type of thing with each of your listings. How would you like that? With each of your communities. Dina, listen up. Seven Bridges needs this. Okay? We need to get together and we need to discuss this. Jonathan, you've been patient. Jonathan, can you just unmute and introduce yourself?
Hi, Jonathan Migdal, Boston suburbs with Gibson Sotheby's. I was very interested in Comet for the reasons that you've outlined. I went to download it. This is, I guess, a week or two ago, and I got put on a waiting list, which wasn't moving at all. I then learned that there is a promotion out there that everybody should know about. I don't know if it's still available, but Perplexity Pro is available for a year at no cost if you link it to your PayPal account.
Okay. I did
So
not know
once you,
that at
so
all, but
the
that's
nice so,
very
so the nice thing about that is number one, you get Perplexity Pro, which gives you just a stronger experience with Perplexity, probably more inquiries, and I'm not sure exactly what else it provides to you, but the most important thing it provided for me is it pushed me to the front of the line at Comet, and so I was able to download it immediately. Comet, it absolutely gives you many more inquiries than you would get with the free version, and it costs nothing for a year. If you link it to your PayPal account, you can cancel it before the end of the year if you find that you're not getting any value out of it.
It's
And
such I didn't know that they put me on a wait list, but I was on for a day and then I got it
I was
immediately.
on for like 4 or 5 days and nothing had happened. And but this you probably signed up for it much earlier than I did, Edmund.
Okay. My belief is that it's becoming readily available. The last thing I want to do is say, here, you can't use it. Haha. I mean, that's not what this is all about. But thank you for saying it. We will check it out. Casey's asking, is it PayPal or Venmo?
PayPal.
Okay.
No, I was actually saying it's both.
Oh, it's
Either.
both. Okay, so,
Yeah.
Casey knows that it's both. That's great stuff. So thank you for that. I don't know what their deal is, but at 20 bucks a month, that sounds like a $240 savings.
It's a very simple deal. If you link it to PayPal, so at the end of the 12-month period, your Venmo or your PayPal account gets charged for the subscription. You get it for a year at no cost, and you can cancel it before the end of the year if that's what you decide to do. And then nothing in there, so there's no cost to it for a year. That's all.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Any questions about this? Again, we're trying to move right along. I'm giving you just a little bit of taste. This is truly a tasting menu today, and we could dive deep into all of this stuff. The workbook, we work very hard. Aton's worked very hard. David, who's working with us as well, put a lot of time into this too. So please use the fucking thing because it works and it's something for you to see and to be able to utilize, and you'll be able to get much more specific with what you're trying to do. You could always also, if you're curious about coaching or group coaching, speak with me about this. I'd be more than happy to tell you all about that. But let's go back to ChatGPT Agent. ChatGPT Agent. Um, it really is the beginning of something. I oftentimes, Eitan and I joke about this. We don't know what we'll be talking about a year from now. We know that it's going to be just so much more advanced, and we're staying on top of this. So I guess I'm saying you're going to learn something now that will be somewhat obsolete, but it will be the nucleus or the building block for what comes next. And I highly suggest that. McKinsey The big consulting companies are, in my opinion, this is really going to put them out of business. If you even read McKinsey's own words, 40% of what they're doing is helping businesses integrate AI into their own businesses. It seems almost brutal that you're teaching the world how to not use you. Um, and the good news for you and for all the people in this meeting, we're going to be able to do some stuff that I think you're going to like. What would you really love to research that we could actually go out and build upon? It could be information about a company. It could be an information. I'm looking for a dialogue with somebody right here. And, I'd prefer somebody who hasn't said anything in a while, but I'll take any of you. Who's got something that they'd really love to dig deep into? Oh my goodness, so something made Zainab, unmute yourself. You're beautiful, darling. What's going on?
Thank you. Good morning. Good. How's everyone? Good?
Everything's fantastic. It's really good to see
Fabulous.
you. It's
Fabulous. Okay, so I have something.
okay.
I
Tell me.
I go to trade shows, let's say Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, right? And I see properties selling like hotcakes, new development. And
Okay.
then I come back to Brickell and I look at this beautiful Baccarat, which has been selling since 2021 and it's still not sold out. So how do we take that sellout period and how do we shorten it? Is there a way to create a framework from everything that all the other developers in the world are doing? I mean,
Look
is
at
that too
this.
complex? But I'm
No.
seriously like boggled on this question these days.
Well, you know what? I don't know if I have the answer for you. I always say, let's try.
Okay,
And
let's go.
stay with me for a second. I know you've got a meeting, but please stay with
No,
me.
no, no, I'm with you now.
Okay, good. So this is ChatGPT.
Mhm.
If nobody recognizes this, you've been under a rock, but this is ChatGPT.
This is
Who am
my
I kidding?
BFF.
Most of you should find this fairly familiar. What you might not find so familiar is right here, this little plus button. I'm going to click on it. And if you pull it down, you'll see a few different things. One of them says agent mode. If you look closely, I don't know if you can see that on your screen, it says I've got 28 agent inquiries left until October 3rd. So by default, they're saying, guys, this stuff costs us money. This is doing some major uh, computing power, major energy. And before I go on with that, I made a social media post that I want you to all think about. I had someone who actually got kind of annoyed with me. I don't know why I didn't invent this, but she was like, well, why don't you talk more about how AI is using up all the energy and taking all the water and resources from some of the poorest areas. And she was going on with this. And no, don't be skeptical. She's right. It does use an awful lot of water. But if you look at my social media posts, because I did a little research on this, how much does a typical search cost? How much water does it use when you do a query? Anyone want to have a guess? A typical AI search needs about a shot glass of water to cool the computer. That's how much resources you're using when you do your little inquiry. Okay. Now you're looking at millions, in fact, billions of searches. It's a lot of shot glasses. Okay. Here's the next question. How much water did this cup of coffee take to actually make? Now you could say just a cup, but you'd be wrong. It takes water to grow it. It takes all sorts of cooling in the machinery to actually operate it. How much water went into this cup of coffee? I'll give you the answer. 30 gallons. One shot glass, 30 gallons. How much is in the chicken sandwich you had for lunch yesterday, Dirk? Okay? That chicken sandwich was 100 gallons. And Jonathan, you look like a meat eater. I don't know if you're vegan or not, but that hamburger that you might have, that 12-ounce burger used 600 pounds. 600 pounds of water went into this. So you want to throw a cow at AI, knock yourself out, but for goodness sakes, be balanced in the truth. And by the way, I would suggest that you actually do some of the research. You could either do it on ChatGPT or on Google or whatever, but do some of the research for yourself and then decide. I'm all for laying blame where blame is due, but I'm also saying to all of you, let's just be balanced with all that. So there, I digress. Let's go back here to agent mode. I'm going to click on it. So I'm going to give up one of my agent searches here. And Zainab, you're going to describe for me word for word what we're going to have this thing do. Tell me what you were saying that you wanted to know about when something sells out. Can you talk me through it?
Yeah, so for example, I see properties in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and I'm specifically picking on Riyadh because they don't even have water. Like they bring water from 400 kilometers away from another city with pipes. So they've turned this city into something magnificent, and
Well,
they're
hold on.
saying
How do I spell Riyadh? I'm sorry.
it's Riy ADH.
Okay, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, I'm man enough to admit I can't spell Riyadh.
That's okay.
Okay,
It
so I
wasn't
see
even on the
properties.
map until recently. See, like that's proving my point.
Okay, well, but no, I'm the teacher here, so I should know this. But so so what? So I see properties in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia,
Yes,
and what?
specifically new development.
Say that again. You see new developments.
Yes, specifically new development. And the sellout periods are very short.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Miami, the
Yeah.
sellout periods are very extended, anywhere between like 3 to 5 years. And we're keeping our sales galleries open. We're staffing them. It's costing us money. I mean, not me personally, but I mean, just saying. How can we take what they're doing, create a framework, and sell out Miami faster? This is literally something that I'm trying to figure out, and I'm even pushing my professors to say, can I do a doctorate dissertation on this? So let's see how this agent works for us.
Okay, and apply it to. Oops. Sorry. What did I do here? So I see
It's
properties.
specifically.
Okay. Okay, and apply it to Miami. I'm going to throw a little bit more AI stuff into here. I'm going to say,
Okay.
please, uh, please iterate through sales in both areas. Um, buyer, buyer, demographics, and anything else you think will help you do your research. I got to tell you, thank you so much for this. I'm going to now hit enter, and I'm going to show you a few things that are going on because this is a question that I've never asked, and it's one that I would never thought to have asked, and I think it's great. So now it's taking some time to think about this, and yeah, look at this. It's taking longer to for a better answer. Boy, so it was a doozy. Now it's what's going to happen here is it's going to think about this, and what you're going to see on the screen momentarily is a little computer screen open up. I'm not sure why it's taking as long as it is, but hopefully we'll be able to get this going in a minute or so. Uh, I hate just up. Here we go. Comparing sales velocity. Okay, well, when something good comes on, I'm gonna jump back to that in a second. I don't like everyone just staring at an empty screen. But it's going to do the research for us, and it's going to give us a fairly detailed answer. Now, it might not be the words you want, and it might have missed its mark, but I will tell you that it's a great time and a great opportunity to be able to iterate and go through and make changes and do further research to be able to try and work that out. Let's see if this guy's doing anything yet. Yeah, it didn't open up a window just yet. These searches, by the way, I think I'm glad that it's taking a while because I could let you know some of these things could take 20, 30 minutes. I hope not.
Oh.
I think that, if that is, I will certainly send you the output. Usually it takes about 10 or 15, but I was hoping to be able to share with you the window that this thing opens up, even though it's not really doing that right now. Um, And what you're going to get from this is a fairly complete package and a complete report that you're going to be able to utilize in your own work. I want to warn you, it's very easy to just say, okay, great, it's done. People by default are fucking lazy. I hate that. I really do. People just really get too lazy with what they're doing and all this. And I see it all the time that people will put what was produced by AI out to the universe. And here it's actually giving us the output now. So let's take a look at this. I love this question. Short answer. Let me get rid of this. Riyadh velocity comes from A, regulated trust building, off-plan sales, escrow projections, and milestone releases, flexible payment plans that feel like rent while you wait, massive end user demand catalyzed by government programs, and tranche-based launches that create urgent event-style sellouts. Okay, I don't know, any of this, but they're giving us off-plan is normalized and tightly regulated and trusted. WAFI, Saudi off-plan regulator under the Real Estate General Authority, licenses developers and projects, require escrow and governs marketing and reporting. That's building buyer confidence. Again, I don't know whether this is true or not true. Zainab, you want to hop in on this? Is there?
Well, yeah, so it is regulated. They have like their departments that regulate it, and the government is really supporting all of this new development. And events are huge. Like I've seen these properties sell out like hotcakes at events specifically. And the exhibition center, Ed, was like miles and miles, miles from the city. And I was like, why did they put this thing here? Like we're driving through the desert, there's camels grazing, like literally. And they were like, oh, don't worry about it. They're gonna build the entire city and connect this event space to the city. So that's how fast things are moving there. It's
Sure.
astounding. Like,
Well, so payment plans are user friendly. I don't know, again, whether this is accurate or not. I want to make sure it's not hallucinating on you. Uh, I'll explain hallucination in a minute. Somebody remind me of that in a minute because there's been some new research done on hallucination. Hallucination is where AI makes stuff up. Um, Riyadh is experiencing a strong household formation and price pressure. Home sales rose sharply in 24. Again, I know nothing about the Middle East real estate, so I'm going to depend on you to tell me whether you think this is accurate. Why Miami sells slower? This might be more interesting. Capital stack and pre-sale thresholds. Developers often need 50 to 60% pre-sales. That's absolutely true. So they'll say, sign up for this, but we can't give you an exact date. I had this before. Fortunately, it worked out. We made the sale was 7.1 million. Yay, made some money. But it was touch and go for a while because we didn't know if they could actually do this. Construction marketing cycles routinely span 2 to 3 years. So it gives you some buyer mix skews investor. South Florida is number one market for foreign buyers. 66% of international sales are all cash, and 59% of foreign buyers purchase condos. So this is some pretty interesting stuff. And this is coming from the Miami Realtors. I should also say that ChatGPT agent will cite the resources that they picked it from,
Yep.
which is why you might want to read who the source is. They could get it from a press release and it could be total BS. So you could take a look. And then they give some useful contrasts in this. Once again, I don't know what Miami can copy from Riyadh and exactly how. Launch in limited batches, 60 to 100 units as curated 40 to 72-hour events that close the book and move pricing for the next tranche. Yeah, I see pricing going up as well. I don't know how accurate that is. Again,
well,
if anyone wants to hop in.
pricing goes up here, but it's not like a public event. So nobody really tells you, okay, this is your opportunity to buy at this price, lock it in, and then tomorrow we're gonna change the price. It goes up, they scale it up. We all know it's gonna scale up and we tell our buyers, but nothing to this level where they're literally creating a whole frenzy around it. Have you seen it? I haven't.
Okay, so yeah, no, look, you're right. I think that we've got a lot of regulation. So you're arguing for deregulation, it sounds like.
Sorry, what?
You're arguing for deregulation. It sounds like
Um,
maybe a little, kind of, sort of.
No, No, I mean, this isn't about regulation. Why would I be arguing for doing? How is
Well,
it
it just seems
regulation
well, I do. I just think that there is sometimes we go through so much red tape to get some of these deals done. But that's another argument. We'll go into that. Requires simple digital reservation, a refundable token, 5 to 10,000, 14-day cooling off. Again, in Florida, we do have 15 days in new condo construction anyway for people to be able to back out. So I'm going to send this to you in a minute.
Okay.
Again, I don't want to. Okay, so
I said steal this.
the
Can
two-minute
I jump in
explanation.
here as a casual observer here?
Sure.
Are the two markets really comparable? Miami has been an established destination for decades with all kinds of other competition with new development or already existing condos, dozens and dozens and dozens to choose from. Whereas it sounds like, Zainab, that you're talking about an area with no housing at all. Am I right with those comparisons?
That is a great observation, Terry, and you are right. The thing is that I haven't seen this only in Riyadh. I've seen it also in Dubai, which is completely built out.
So, one thing I made a little mistake here. What we looked at was just the preview. This is the actual research that I was talking about. You see this little computer screen in the screen?
Oh, cool.
So this is ChatGPT agent. I was wondering what happened to it. I just need to scroll down a little more. This is actually going on and giving a much more comprehensive research into this very topic. And I think, again, like I said, it can take an awful long time to come up with this. I think we're using more than a shot glass of water here, guys. But the point that I want you to
We
take
all,
away is that once it's done, I will make it publicly available. Certainly, the one who gets it the most will be Zainab, but I want you to be able to dive in and take a look at it. And if you could, what's the saying? Rip off and duplicate this in your own work. That's great. So whether it's Saudi Arabia or Boca Raton or wherever you might be, if there's tools that you could use from this, I think that would be great. I've said this in many different meetings. You guys need to leverage content a lot more. And if you come next week to the mastermind on making AI your marketing assistant, we're going to be able to take some of what we learned today and apply it into the tools and all of this. And of course, as new tools come out, since last week, right now, Claude, something that Eitan hates, but I love, again, just to show people, some people like chicken, some people like steak. Claude just came out with a great tool within that where you could give raw data. You could give a annual report of your company, or market research from something, or your own bank account for that matter. And it will give you now a detailed report and produce Excel files of that report for you if you want. I'm not kidding, really good stuff. Or Zainab, if you have research that you want to go a step further, we might want to meet up at some point and you could take that research and put it in. It will make slideshows for you. It will make, I mean, some really, really cool stuff. We're going to touch on some of that next week. Again, my big issue with all of you is to keep you captivated enough and to have you understanding enough of what's going on here and have us fulfill the promise that I have to you. And that is that you could take the information that we're giving you today, bring it back to your place of work and immediately use it to make money. If you don't make money, eventually you're going to leave me and I don't want you to leave me. I want you to love this and I want you to all come to my retirement party. And the way I'm going right now, I'm retiring in about 70 years. So I really sincerely hope to do this. Let's see what somebody posted here. One trick I use when fact checking AI is to ask follow-up question after the search, telling the bot to insert the word null for any information to add it on its own. Thank you for that, Dirk. Dirk in Denver. I like that.
Very smart.
Denver, Dirk. It's Dirk in Denver. You know what? ChatGPT spent a lot of money doing research and they found that it's incredibly simple what's going on with this. Let's say you have a multiple choice test. All of us have those multiple choice tests. I like them more than essays, to be honest with you. If you don't know the answer, you're going to pick A, B, C, or D. I mean, you now have a 25% chance. If I had to guess Dirk, your birthday is September 29th. Is it?
Wrong.
Okay. That was one out of
No.
365 chance of my being right. I figured it probably wasn't. I knew I had that, but it's better that you actually guess. In other words, I'm rewarded for guessing as opposed to giving you real information. That's been the problem with AI. And so what Dirk has done on his own was put the word null in there. ChatGPT and all these tools are taking a lot more time right now to say that it's okay to be wrong. Um, I say this very carefully because I get penalized all the time by clients who want you to lie to them. Clients will say to you, well, what do you think the home is worth? Dina and I just went through this. We know what the home is worth, and it's not what you want. But there's going to be somebody out there that will tell you that, right? You remember the example that I gave before? You go to 20 different doctors, 19 of them says you have a horrible disease that's going to kill you slowly, and the 20th one says it's a cold. The 19 of them are schmucks. The 20th one is a genius. I'm going to stick with him because people want to be lied to. I wish that wasn't the case, but we see it over and over and over again. We're going to talk about that in future meetings as well and how to actually overcome it. How do you raise a kid in a world today that's increasingly rewarding lies when in fact you really want to be honest and ethical? It's not the easiest thing in the world, especially when people themselves would rather be lied to. So just a thought. Okay, 9:50. Oh, Zainab, please go right ahead. You
Hi.
gotta, yeah.
Okay, so you might have had a session on this. I don't know, but lead generation, here's my dilemma. I'm Turkish, and the Turkish banks are now paying like 42% interest on the Turkish lira and pegging the dollar down. My clientele are not moving money, so I need to make new clients. Like I'm even thinking, should I start driving Uber to meet people?
I had an Uber driver come in here who got his real estate license, and he does about 3 or 4 deals a year.
Well, mine would be the
On,
reverse, like, right?
look, you're a nice lady, and to me, I want you to be. The Jewish grandmother in me is going to come out here. I want you to be safe and not get hurt by doing this.
So
Again,
how do we leverage AI to create leads? That's
okay,
my
we,
question.
we talk about that a lot, and yes, there will be multiple conversations about what you could do and how to actually utilize AI, not to just produce leads, but to grade them, or some people might say score them, and to be able to go out and try and take a deeper understanding of who your target is. If you know what you're actually pitching someone, you're going to be able to be a lot more, you're going to be a lot luckier when you actually go into the right group of people. What's the chances of, um, there was a woman online who said this yesterday. I thought it was very smart. What's the chances of somebody, if she wants to marry a guy, and again, she was somewhat sexist. These are her words, not mine. If she wants to marry a man who went to Ivy League schools, um, she's got a 0.06 chance in society of meeting someone who went to an Ivy League school. What if you go to an Ivy League school? You've got a 100% chance of meeting somebody who goes to Ivy League schools. Why do I always talk about the fact that I was able to, lucky enough, I mean, this isn't intellect, I was lucky enough to buy into a very exclusive community 12 years ago. I was lucky. You could be smart or lucky. I was smart, but damn it, I was lucky. I got in really, really cheap. The club just announced now the membership is $500,000. Ain't no way I was going to buy into that. No way. I paid 75,000 12 years ago. That was still a fortune for me then. I like to say I'm the poorest guy in the richest neighborhood, but guess what? The deals that you get is because you put yourself in proximity of the opportunity. And I think what you're saying, Zainab, is kind of the same thing. How do we put ourselves into the proximity of the opportunity? Terry puts himself in the proximity of the opportunity when he buys coffee for everyone at Starbucks.
Ah,
I
cool.
had,
It's not Starbucks. No. They do not need my money. It is a mom and pop in my favorite neighborhood in Brooklyn. And I'll be there from 2 to 3 today. Everyone come by. Check my Facebook page.
see that? You see that?
Love
He's
it.
he schooled me. But he gives that. Look, everyone has their muse. I would love for all of you to find your own muse. What is going to put you in the place of it? I'll give you another observation. When I had an event in Manhattan years ago, I had over 100 people there, and there were three uh, African American women who came to that meeting. They were guests of guests. I really didn't know who they were, and that was fine. The idea was to kind of mix and mingle, and I did that a lot. Terry knows he went to my things. If Mark's here, he went to my stuff when I did this in New York. But the thing that was interesting was even though they came separately, within 5 minutes they found each other. Within 5 minutes they went into their own little world and were talking to one another. And man, that's great. But wouldn't it even been greater if they kind of went beyond what was familiar? I'm not going to just, look at someone because they're black or white or anything like that. What I am saying is that we have a tendency to go with what is familiar. When you venture out beyond that, you tend to find other opportunity that you might not have had. So I'm trying to say that as politely
Yeah,
as I can. I just think that they missed a real opportunity because there were some great, and it's scary. Somebody could say, "Who is this person coming up?" That's why I always say, you want to call someone that's safe, call Terry. He's never hung up on anyone in his life. Try and be able to do that. Get comfortable being somewhat uncomfortable. Okay, just a few minutes left here. I wanted to see wants, needs, and brags. And now's the time in the meeting to talk about what you want, what you need, and what you'd like to brag about. I'm going to see my kid next week at Parents Weekend. That's there. I'm bragging. Terry, go ahead. What do you want to brag about?
I am doing the 13th annual Douglas Elliman Ride for Love. This is a fundraiser for God's Love. We deliver a wonderful charity here in New York City that provides hot, nutritious meals for people who are homebound with illness and their caretakers. So I am riding 25 miles. I want to raise $1,000. I have put on the Rain Nation page my link. Edmund has taught me well. So please be generous. Please be generous. I was out biking this morning. So, and God's Love We Deliver is a great organization. I've known them since I've moved to New York City in the 80s. So this is a wonderful organization, a wonderful cause. It's fun to ride your bike up and down the West Side Highway. That's what we're going to do, 25 miles from one end of the island up to the GW Bridge. Please be kind, be generous. This every $10 buys a meal for somebody who needs it. So it is not money that gets divvied up in lots of
And
weird ways to line somebody's pockets. This is a great organization, and I would appreciate your generosity. Thank you.
And every year you do it, and every year I do sponsor, put my money into it as well. And it's a very, very good cause. And Terry's a really good man. Um, and so if you want to contribute, I'll give to almost all of your stuff, provided it's not some type of hate group or something. So if you guys have a charity, I think Maxine has an educational charity that I contributed to. I think it's important. I think that we'll talk about the Harvard study that was done that found that the more you give, for every dollar that you donate, this is true, you get $2.50 out of that donation if you routinely do that. And I'm a firm believer in it. It really is. I don't know. Maybe it's called the universe, called God, call it whatever you want to call it. There is stuff that actually that comes back to you. You don't have to, you can't afford it, don't do it. But I can. And God's love we deliver. Believe me, I've given a lot more to a lot worse. It's a great organization, so you should think about that. Thank you for that, Terry. Wants, needs, and brags. Who else? You don't need to be so kind as well. If you want to brag about a listing that you just got, that's great too. If you want to talk about a lot of money you just made, that's great too. Terry might ask you for $100, but still, talk about
I know you got it.
it. Anyone? Anyone? Ferris Bueller? Shara, Peggy, Nicole. Nicole's here. Oh boy, it's a big day. Nicole Miller.
I want to know where David got his cool glasses.
David, actually, David, you mind unmuting yourself and introducing yourself to all of us? You got to unmute there, or okay. He's got to get his speaker together. David is working. Well, I'll let him introduce himself in a minute. Let's see who else. Marlene, do you want to throw anything? Mark, Casey's here. Casey, we got to get lunch again soon. Okay,
Hello
David.
everyone. Can you
David,
Not too much happened.
Okay, David, I'll get you in a second, David. David, can you just introduce yourself and tell them where you are and your connection to us now?
Okay, my name is David Momodu. I am more of a tech specialist in terms of building systems and managing different kinds of systems. I am based in Nigeria and I have the privilege of working with both Edmund and Ethan in making some edits and making sure everything is fantastic. I appreciate everyone. I listen to us. I gain from our insights and I would love to learn more and be a better person all around. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. And David is a wonderful guy and he's working very, very hard for us. And a lot of the tech stuff that you're seeing, again, since Daniel passed away, we've been trying to get ourselves together with all the stuff and the back end. And as a result, we went out and tried a couple people and David's sticking and David's doing a great job. And David, thank you. I'm proud to work with you. And we do need to meet at some point pretty soon. That's good. We have also where is she? Casey, were you gonna pop in?
No, I was just saying not too much happened this week, but I did try out Notion from the last call and I really like it.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. So, everyone get to know Casey. She's lovely. I met her at the Realtors Association. That's great stuff. I'm meeting a lot of people, lean into your Realtors Associations, guys. It's good stuff. Who else? Hassan, Greg, Dirk, Edeka. Anyone? Ferris Bueller? Ferris Bueller? No? Okay, guys, look, like I said, I very much want you to come next week. It is a really, really important topic. We're leaning in on AI because the world is AI. It really is largely as it has to do with real estate, but it does go across many other industries. Um, Coming up in October, we'll get a date for you. I'm going to have Michelle Jubilier as a special speaker. You could Google her at some point. Michelle was the CEO of Capitol Records, and she just started a startup called Soft Shock in Los Angeles. Again, what does this have to do with real estate? Well, maybe nothing, but everything to do with business and organization. And if I could get great people to talk about their successes, that's great. So Michelle Jubilier, sometime in October, that's going to be pretty exciting. And I hope that all of you come to that. And if you have new tools, please send them to me. Everything we do is at the direction of you. So if there's stuff that you think that we need to school ourselves in, we put a lot of time in. We now have David helping us with this, and we figured this stuff out, and we're able to begin to package it to you. This is far too much for you to keep up with on your own, but collectively, we could do some really great stuff. And if you think something sucked and you said, God, Ed, you were wrong, I'm man enough to hear it. We're not all perfect, but we will continually work to that perfection to be able to make it. And finally, if we haven't gotten together, please give me a buzz. I don't have my other link here, but that's my phone number. So please give me a buzz. I really would love to talk to all of you. And if you get my voicemail, just leave a message. I do also have my Calendly link, which I'll have in other meetings. Again, I don't think Aton is here now. He had to run and he has the Calendly link, but I would love to get together and chat with all of you. And all that said, Terry,
Oh, yeah.
are you ready?
I am so ready.
Okay, this is really the exciting part in the meeting where I look at all of you and I say, it really was good to have you today. I'm really happy that all of you joined us, and I hope that all of you can make it again on September 17th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for an exciting episode of
Rain Nation.
Mazel Tov. I love it. Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you all so much for coming along. Again, my number's in the chat there. And if you have time, give me a buzz. I'd love to talk to all of you. Take care.
Have a great day.